Okay. Would you like to get started right away, Claire? Just because of our time.
Yes, that would be great. It's wonderful to see so many students here, especially when I know that quite a few have got exams happening. We really do appreciate you joining us, and I'm sure that this is going to be a very useful session. And thank you, Mr. Haqqaoui, for providing this session for the students. Dr. Asato, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So Mr. Haqqaoui, I'm Casey Asada, the head of school at ASM, and it's a real pleasure to have the opportunity to have you join our students and for you to share a bit about your life and wisdom with them. You are our second speaker in this series of career connections that we have initiated this year, and we're so delighted that you're able to be here and to talk about finance and career planning. And if you'd allow me, I'm happy to properly introduce you now to the students. So Mr. Haqqaoui is an ASM parent and entrepreneur with over a decade of experience at major Wall Street investment banks, including BNP Paribas, Lehman Brothers, and Barclays Capital. In 2011, Mr. Haqqaoui moved back to Morocco, where he holds several positions in construction and real estate, engineering consulting, technology, and asset management. So Mr. Haqqaoui earned a civil engineering degree from EMI and a master's degree in mathematics and finance from Columbia University in the city of New York. And we are delighted to have you here today, Mr. Haqqaoui. The floor is yours. See, are you there, Mr. Haqqaoui? I see a meme.
Yep.
Are you there? Okay, great.
I think I'm in.
Okay. Welcome.
Yeah, as I said, thank you for having me in this session. I'm delighted to be invited actually to speak about my career, my experiences, and share with the students. I've been there. I was a student. I have two boys, lovely boys at your school, at your lovely school, who just joined this year. Actually, Maddie, one of my kids, was there a long time back, but I'm happy to bring him in back to ASM. Thank you guys for all what you've done to make the experience happen for those two boys. So basically, during this session, I'm happy to take any question from the students if they have any. I hope they will. I grew up in an environment where I haven't had the chance in high school to have this kind of session and to have speakers from different industries and different experiences to share their experiences and basically to learn from these experiences. I learned it the hard way, and I'm happy for that. But I just want to point out for ASM students that they should be lucky to have this environment, this favorable environment, to have people from industry, from different worlds, to share their experiences, because it's what can help them and guide them basically to take the right decision for their career path, for their university. So I feel free to ask any question during the session. I don't want it to be just reading my bio or telling the story about my experiences. So feel free to ask questions. I graduated basically from EMI, which is an engineering school based in Rabat in Morocco, where I had any plans for the future, for the career. I had to, during my experience, I had to, every step discover new things. But behind every step, there is a lot of motivations, a lot of, I want more, I'm hungry, and I want to discover more. And it took me some time, to discover this and to learn all this. but I did it, and I'm happy for that. So I got my degree from EMI in Rabat, civil engineering, where the classic path is basically take a position in construction companies or any other companies in Morocco. That's not what did motivated me, and I wanted to do more. Basically, I moved to the States where I had no idea where I'm going to be landing in terms of career. As an engineer, basically, I switched to OR, operation research, where it's basically a lot of math, statistics, and engineering, basically courses, where it opened my eye to a lot of fields. One of the fields that did interest me is Wall Street. Is finance in general and the capital market. The beauty of this industry is, we don't think about finance as just a measure, but it's an industry where you have people who've had a psychology major, math major, business major, English major, history major. It's basically an industry where it's more for people who are hungry to succeed in life, more than just a background or just an education that led them to this industry. So during my OR courses, I got an internship first at BNP Paribas, where I got interviewed for a structuring position. The few things that I knew about finance, and this is, I do remember it, as if it was today, the first interview where, I'm not a finance background, but they were looking for, a structurer, an engineer with the math background, strong math background, and operational research background, where, when I went to the interview, I said, well, I have no chance to get it because, I'm not in finance, but this is, the kind of thing that the students shouldn't have in mind. So basically, if there is a will, there is a way. So if you're interested on something, if you're really hungry to get a position, then just work hard, and everything can be learned. Everything can be learned. So basically, this is the point that I want to mention to the students. With a little self-confidence, which is a point that you guys at ASM and in any American system work a lot on, self-confidence and, just be serious about what you want to do. You can get anything you want in life, especially in career. There is no, basically, that's one of the most important things. So I got the internship at BNP Paribas. I got my full-time job there. I started in Wall Street, BNP for many years. Then I was hired by Lehman Brothers before the bankruptcy as a VP in their capital market team, fixed income, where we had fun structuring a lot of financial products for investors, basically, who wants to place their money for a good return. And then by 2008, where I would say it was a good experience to live the bankruptcy of Lehman. It's very, no one would thought that Lehman Brothers would file Chapter 11. But it happened. It was a good experience. Then Barclays took over Lehman Brothers business in the States. Nomura took the business in the UK, but Barclays took the business in the States. And I stayed with Barclays till 2000 and the end of 2010. Then I moved back to Morocco for an entrepreneurship life. where, you know, I had to develop many businesses. I took over some construction businesses, family businesses that I'm developing, still developing, and I developed other businesses basically in real estate, asset management, and technology. It's pretty much, you know, a short, you know, view of all my experiences and my, you know, my life so far. You know, students, I think in high school are about to think about their, you know, career path, but university path first. I encourage them to, to look at, you know, many universities, great universities, their interest first. If they're interested in any subject, there are great universities in the States. You know, I've been to, you know, one that I consider a very good school, considering a lot of facts. It's an Ivy school, great professors. But then again, and once there, I mean, when I applied to Columbia University, it's for me, it's like, I think I was always thinking that the level where I'm going, it's higher than mine. And in every step, it was totally wrong. So basically, guys, even if you live in America, a small, tiny city in a small country in the map of the world, there is a chance for everybody. Just work hard and you will get it. I get some questions basically. No, I never studied in any American system. Actually, let me tell you a story. I started speaking English at the age of 20 something. I learned English in high school, but, you know, 1 hour a week, were pretty much just the professor and the guys who were, you know, having interest in English. I mean, three guys in class was speaking English with the professor. But no, I mean, myself, I learned English basically. I used to read English, but never spoke it in the past. My first, you know, month where I really spoke English was in when I went to the US, basically. The first 3 months of my life in the US was in San Diego, where I took some English classes. It was a beautiful place, and this is where I started learning English. I want you to think, there is one thing very important in the States, especially in the States. English is a way of communicating. It's not because you speak fluent English that you're going to have a great career in the States or everywhere in the world. English is just a tool to communicate. So focus on being good on what you do, learn, hard work, and of course, I mean, English is going to open a lot of doors for you.
Would you entertain questions from the? Oh, here we have more questions here, I think.
Do you have any advice on investing in companies? Well, I mean, the investment world is very, very wide. I'm happy to you know, to get a question from a high school student, you know, investing in company is good. Are you talking about, you know, in general or any specific industries? The good thing about being in good schools, in very good schools, is you're in an environment where, you know, investing in you know, the internship mindset, you feel it in the school. I used to sit in a Starbucks in the Silicon Valley in University Avenue by Stanford University, and you see kids, I mean, 18, 20, talking about, you know, how to get an IPO, how to start you know, a tech company, because this is where, you know, all the tech companies are pretty much. And yes, I mean, being in a good school, being in a great environment can lead you think about investment in early ages, and I encourage you to do that. I mean, if anyone thinks about investing, basically it's either you start a company, and I'm talking about startups, or you have money and then you invest in the company. They're two different things. The second point is basically comes at an advanced level where we have VCs, venture capitals, and big sharks in the finance world, who their job is basically to look at college universities, young people who have great ideas, and put the money on. So yes, my advice for you as a student is basically, try to, if you wanted to be in the tech company, I would encourage the Silicon Valley. I would encourage, the Bay Area. There are great schools there: Stanford, Berkeley, USC, UCLA. I mean, they're all connected to the, the tech firms, basically. And from there, you get the experience either through a job or through any experience that can give you a clear mindset and idea about where you're going to be investing and what you want to launch as a startup. When you were young, did you imagine that you will have a success? Well, I still don't think I'm successful, but I'm doing my best, to do the best I can. I never thought that. I always had a dream, and the dream is still on me, to do more, to dig more, to better do anything I can. I never thought that. I was in Morocco in an environment where I didn't even have a chance to speak to any industry leaders, because we didn't have that in high school. I'm from Moroccans. I mean, 100% Moroccan system where we didn't have that. I discovered that when I moved to the States. You guys have it now at college, so you should be happy for that. I can't. I think that I missed a question because they pop up and I couldn't read the whole thing.
If you, on the right side, if you click on the chat box, you can see the history of all the questions.
Yeah. Info. So the question is just written, right? Yeah, maybe the pop-ups. Well, I don't see the others, honestly.
Well, I can read them if you'd like.
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay, so I'll scroll back to the top. What do you think is the first step when going into entrepreneurship? Like what to study in university, etc.
Well, entrepreneurship, to me, it's not a major, it's a mindset. So any major you choose can lead you to this life. So basically, don't think about it as something that you have to study during university. No, you can be a biology major, psychology major, and be good on what you do, and you can switch to launch an idea that you have through a business, and you are in entrepreneurship. So basically, yeah, I mean, there are courses, and most of the time on the undergrad, there are electives that they can take about, you know, business strategy, business development. Yes, I mean, I encourage you to do that. But if you choose an engineering major, then, you know, if you're good on what you do, your life can lead to that. But to me, it's not a major, it's a mindset. It's something that you develop through experiences, through the environment where you are. And after that, it's up to you to want to take the risk. The younger you take it, the better it is. I think everybody knows that. But then again, being in an environment where the common thing, I mean, if you look at Stanford University, I mean, I like to mention it for you know, tech industry. It's very common to see young students before graduating already have an idea about what they want to do, and they launch it after college. It's really nice environment. On the finance side, yes. On the finance side, you have the East Coast, you have Columbia, you have Harvard, you have MIT, you have Wharton, which is a great school. Basically, after a couple of years, I mean, after some years, basically, at the industry, to know the know-how, the players, how it works, to understand the market, to get exposure to the trading desk, the capital market, and the different areas of finance. Then, yes, I mean, after that, there's a lot of ideas that you can develop and launch. I hope, you know, I answered basically this question, and I saw another one. I'm sorry to ask you if you can just repeat it for me.
Absolutely, no problem. When did you realize what job you wanted to do later in life?
That what I wanted to do?
This is the question that came, yes. When did you realize what job you wanted to do later in life?
Well, my dad is a civil engineer, so the first part of my education, basically, you know, I did engineering. You know, for me, my dad is still my role model. So as a civil engineer, I did civil engineering. But then I realized there are other things to do, interesting things to do in life, in the business. So I moved to the, you know, the financial engineering side. You know, having a background in engineering, I was fascinated by how things are working in the quantitative side of finance, because finance are, you have our big portion now in Wall Street that been well developed, starting early 90s, about quantitative finance. And the reason for that, I mean, a lot of physicians work in Wall Street, a lot of mathematicians work in Wall Street. And I think students are wondering why engineers, why doing like electrical engineering can lead you to Wall Street. Why doing math background can lead you to Wall Street. Why doing, you know, having a PhD, there are a lot of PhDs in physics who work to Wall Street. They have to know that, you know, predicting the market in general is something, it's a discipline that uses a lot of mathematics behind. And we can go, you know, through, you know, some details, you know, the Black-Scholes formula that price options in the stock market, basically. If you're not good in math, you will not understand anything. So when I went to this field, basically I realized that I have enough background, you know, to excel in this field. I want to that, and you know, I discovered a new word, I discovered a new career, and I loved it till the end of 2011, where it was time for me to decide either to stay in Wall Street kind of forever, or if I'm interested in the entrepreneurship side, that was the time. And for me, a lot of people would, took me as a crazy to leave, Barclays Capital, especially after all what happened in the market in 2008 and a lot of layoffs. And I resigned. And I remember my boss told me, you know what? I think you should think seriously about leaving Barclays, because it's a tight market. It's not enough opportunities, and you're resigning. Just think twice about it. And I said no. I thought about it. It's time for me to move on to something else. And this is what I want to share with students. Every part of life has a team. After college, I want to be, I wanted to have a great position in a big company. That's what was driving me. And at a certain point in my life, I was like, no, I'm not done for corporate world anymore. I have to do it myself. So then I switch it. So there are decisions that have to be made in life, and that we have to assume, because it can work, it can fail, and failure is not, it's a great experience. We learn from our failures. It's not a taboo. They have to know it. Not everyone will be successful, and especially the one that will, leave this world at the first failure. You can fail once, twice, 3 times. We have great stories about that. KFC started business at 65. A lot of great minds, basically, they never got trusted from the industry till they made it. So just keep this motivation in you. If you think that you're good on what you do, and you believe on your ideas, just don't listen to negative energy around, and just keep pushing till you get there.
Thank you. I know I realize that there are many more questions that the students have, and I'm sure the teachers and staff that are on this call have got questions as well. But we do want to be mindful of your time. We know you're a very busy person. If you don't mind, I'm going to just share snippets that I've been writing down. Things that you've said as a summary. Hunger.
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Everything can be learned.
Yeah.
Self-confidence.
Yeah, true.
English as a tool to communicate.
Yeah.
Do the best you can. Mindset. Learn from failure. I'd like to thank, on behalf of the students and the staff, I'd like to thank you very much for your time, your words of wisdom, guidance for our students. I'm sure they're in the background behind you.
And then again, I'm happy to share my contact info with students. If they want anything, I'm happy to share anything that I know, from the university side. I've been there. I learned it the hard way. I mean, I can give them a lot of shortcuts on get into the university and share my experiences. But then again, I think you're doing a great job on doing that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Haqqaoui. If students have additional questions, we can perhaps channel them through Ms. Smith and then forward them on to you.
Sure.
But again, want to say thank you for your time. We know it's valuable, and we appreciate all the words of wisdom you've shared with our students today.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure is mine.
Have a wonderful day.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.